Hello, guys. Welcome to my channel on Knowledge Central. And in this video, I'll be talking about few important questions to keep in mind for any interview. I mean, this can be for any domain. It can be for an engineering field. It can be for a doctor's domain or even a PhD for an internship, anything. So these are some of the key questions. In fact, there are just 3 questions to keep in mind if you want to ace any interview. And of course, it's one of the simple way. As I mentioned in this slide, there are a lot of other factors, a lot of other dimensions, a lot of other things to take care, which we can discuss on subsequent videos on career related aspects. But these are the far most important questions, and it's a basic foundation in order to start your interview preparations, or actually even just not interviews, but also it can be useful for any documentation. For example, your resume, your cover letter, your CV, your motivation, doesn't matter. So even when you're drafting a question, when you're replying for an email, or if you're answering any questions in the application form, I think keeping in mind these questions would be a wonderful idea. And anything you say, anything you write should probably be linking to one of the 3 questions. Otherwise, it's just an extra piece of information which might not give a lot of additional weightage or support for your application or your answer or anything, right? So anything related to upgrading your career, starting from documentation, application form, up to interview, last interview, keep these 3 questions in mind. And I think you will definitely impress the employer, the future employer. Okay. So yeah, going on to the first question, it's really simple. It's about why you, right? There are thousands of applications, thousands of applicants, and why you? What makes you stand up? So that you need to be clear about. How can you, surpass the other candidates? What is something unique in you, and what are some skills which you have, which others might not have, right? So what makes you, stand in the pedestal compared to the crowd? So make sure that you have certain qualities, or at least, be self-aware of what are certain aspects which might be highlighted in this role, and what do I actually have, so that I can, boast myself. You can't exactly show off like a little bit in a direct way, but when you're answering questions, you can always put it in a way where things can make you a little bit stand out compared to the others in the crowd. For example, you might be a really good communicator, you might be a really good leader. So make sure that you put that things into context. And, apart from exactly the role, you have these additional qualities, which might make you a little bit extra. For example, any role related to data science, you actually might need to be a really good listener, really good storyteller, really good communicator. So make sure that you are a combination of these different things, apart from just the skills which are required for any job role. So that's a very important start. So have a very good self-awareness of yourself and what are the skills you have, why you are, apt for the role, and why you actually, stand out a little bit compared to the other applicants. So any answer you tell, keep this in mind. Why you, right? The first and foremost question. And once this is there, the second important, foremost, or one of the important questions to keep in mind is why this role, right? When you're applying for a certain position, when you're, preparing a CV or preparing your motivation letter, you need to make sure to keep this in mind. You're applying for a particular role. Why this role? Why this role is in sync with your capabilities? Why this role resonates with who you are, your personality, or why in fact, you might be really passionate about it. You might have some skills which you have applied, and then you got some great results in the university or in the course or teamwork or an assignment. It does not matter, right? So it's more important to why you have the connection to a particular role, right? It might be any role, it might be an analyst, or it might be a consultant. Why do you think you are great in that particular role, right? For example, why consultant? And especially for consultant, you need a lot of, qualities. Say, for example, they need to be really good in understanding the vision, the goal of a particular customer. They need to understand the why. They need to be a little bit, detail oriented. So a lot of things are there, right? You need to have proper, convincing skills or persuasion skills. I can keep going on, right? I want to keep this video as generic as possible and make sure that this helps a wider set of audience. So make sure that to know your role and then try to connect why exactly you love this role and why you are passionate about it and what makes you, best to, ace in this particular role, right? So after why you, next question is why this particular role? And the final but not the least question is why this company, right? So they are also interested, like, you have a lot of qualities. You exactly know what role you want, right? Both the questions are answered, both the questions are kept in mind. But you can then apply to this particular role in any other company. Why do you come to our company? That might be a question which is really recurring uh, in any recruiters or any technical lead who's taking your interview is why this particular company and why you're changing from your old company to new company. So these questions can be put in different context. If you're getting the job or, your first job, then why this company would be just a question of why are you starting with your company. But if you're planning to change, then the question might be, why are you changing the company from your old company to new company? Why are you interested with us, right? So the interviewer will be really curious to understand this. And you can really put this question into context by doing your research, of course, first and foremost. And second of all, you need to have a story. Like, this company had a really good, culture. It has a team. I see myself having, a growth potential, and my values and skill set are, much more in line with company's mission and vision in a few more years. So I would be a good sync with, giving up a lot of, giving a lot of values to the company. And apart from this, it does other things which match my personality. So you can build up a good story, that's very important. Make sure that you research the company and make sure, again, you have a connection from you to the company, why this company, right? So once you have these three questions in mind, right, why you are, better than the other applicants, why this role, why you are apt for this particular role, and why this certain company or the university, if you're applying for PhD or master's, right? So these three can be kept in mind. Again, I'm focusing on the point. It's just not interview, but also for any documentation or any application document you prepare, right? If you're applying, say, for example, higher studies, right? If you're applying for higher studies, again, these three questions should be kept in mind. Why you applying for higher studies, why you are applying for master's, that's the role you're going to perform, right? Why you are applying for a master's student or a PhD, and then why this particular university. And same goes for any company. If you're preparing a CV or a cover letter or a motivation letter, anything you write, just keep these three questions in mind, right? And so that every word you write makes much more value for the reader, right? When he reads a certain line, should either show your skill or your affinity towards a particular role or your interest towards a particular company. Anything else might be important, but since I'm making this a very generic video for a career-based generic video, might be other things which are more specific, say, for example, when it comes to interview of a particular role or particular PhD position. But on and all, these three questions should be kept in mind on a broader basis, right? Anything you do, anything you write, anything you say, make sure that you link it to one of these three questions. And I think you would be making the best use of the words, the word limit in a particular document, or of course, best use of the time when you're talking to the hiring manager, recruiting consultant, or the team lead, or CEO in that case. And especially he's more important, why you and what values do you add to the company, and why do you want to shift from your previous company to the current company, and these kind of questions. So yes, make sure that you keep these three questions in mind. And I'm really looking forward to make more videos in career related stuff, and how to enhance your career, how to love your job, how to ace interview. Probably we can also talk about more specific questions, like, for example, other factors or determinants when it comes to, say, for example, drafting your CV or drafting your motivation letter. We can get deeper into those concepts and, different levels of interview on a broader basis, and then how to ace each interview. Probably in the future videos, I'd be love to talk about these things, and I'd be really glad to, of course, get your feedback in terms of comments, or feel free to let me know what kind of different things we can, post videos on, and what expectations you have from my side, what improvements can be done. Feel free to communicate and engage so that we can build a better community and then make better use of everyone's time. So again, thanks a lot for your time. It's been a pleasure, just sharing my experience and wisdom, and hope this video helps at least a few people who are, trying to get ahead in their career, or, want to get their first job or getting to master's, PhD. Good luck, everyone, and hopefully see you guys soon in the next video. Bye-bye, and take care.